You can always bring something else up.
Double.
Because this is so good.
Yeah, as always, double check. We can bring it up later. It's not a big deal. Double check to make sure that it's actually recorded. I can't do it on this thing because it's not a very powerful computer.
It's a tablet.
Neither is mine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Drexel Freethought Society podcast. The Drexel Freethought Society is the only secular recognized student organization at Drexel University. We discuss various topics about religion, science, philosophy, how they all intermingle. I had a long-winded explanation of what this club is about, but I never remembered to bring it. So I guess we'll just kind of jump right into it. I'm David McDevitt, the president of the Drexel Freethought Society. If you have any questions or comments, you can post them on the little chat thingy on the side of the Ustream, or you can email us at drexfreethought@gmail.com, or use our Facebook. We love questions, and we've gotten a few, but not nearly enough. Anyway, thank you. Today's topic is going to be the parallels between science and religion, which actually, I probably should have brought this up earlier. This was actually brought up by somebody who wanted to join the club, but had a few questions about it. I'll bring up her message shortly when the conversation is going. Unfortunately, we don't have very many people, and I'm honestly trying to see how much I can powder on before one of these guys interrupts me.
How does many people you go?
Okay. We're really short-handed, which kind of makes sense. We're getting kind of close to our finals. So
It's only into week 8. Come on, people.
it's week 10. Actually, it's finals. We have 3 weeks.
Me too.
We have 2 weeks before finals.
Oh, God.
Yes.
I have so much calculus I need to learn.
We're
Which
dangerously
one was-
close.
Calc 3.
Oh, I never took up 3, never going to.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Simone.
So she may show up. But yeah, actually, this topic came up because I'm just going to say her name's Tori, so we don't reveal who she is.
Yeah.
She professes that she's a fairly religious person, and she finds that religion and science answer many of the same kind of questions, and that religion really is a kind of science. I'm viciously paraphrasing. And once I read that message, my eyes widened and my ears perked up a little. I completely disagree.
But what was her point? Like, what was she trying to say? That, like, I'm like totally confused. Like, with religion and science, like, is she saying that religion answers, like, like how the earth came about, how the universe came about, stuff like that? Or more like, there's certain questions that religion answers that, like, evolution and all that other crap. Like, that comes with science. Not crap, but, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff.
All that garbage.
Stuff. Like, there's so much about science. There's, like, the engineering field, there's biology, there's psychology, there's so many different things that I don't think religion really brings up all those points.
True.
So basically what we're trying to find out is, what is the goal of science? What is the goal of religion? Are they the same goals? And if the answer is yes, then how do they approach those goals? Or are their goals totally different altogether?
I totally believe that religion and science, their goals are totally different. Science is saying, this is what the facts are. Religion is saying, this is what you should be following. This is what someone has said. This is what you should follow. Science is like, well, we have all these facts to prove what we're saying, so therefore it is true. Religion says, believe this is true.
So it sounds like one of them tries to support their claims with evidence, and the other one is trying to support their claims by fiat.
Yeah, like, you should believe, where science is saying, here's the evidence, there it is.
True, there's no doctrine to science. There's just kind of, this is what's happening. Here's why it's happening. We don't care if you believe it or not.
Exactly.
Actually, there's a quote by Neil deGrasse Tyson, who was just kind of like, science is true whether or not you believe in it.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
I mean, I can say I don't believe in evolution, but there's facts to prove it, so. Like, evolution, I don't understand why people get just such a hissy fit about it. Like, I asked one person, like, she's a professor.
It goes against religion.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's a professor of Islamic studies at St. Joseph's, and I went over to her house, and we were having of a discussion, and I'm like, so what is your belief on evolution?
You
Like,
didn't invite me.
well, this was before I knew you. I'm sorry.
Excuses.
It was last year. Freshman year. Sophomore, beginning of sophomore year. Anyway,
Excuses.
so I went over to her house and like we had this discussion, and I'm like, so what do you think about evolution? Like, what's your opinion on it? And she was like, and she gave me a huge explanation about everything except evolution. So I was just
Battery.
oh.
Keep talking. This is good.
So I'm just like, so you went about and told me everything except what my question was. So I'm still confused. Like, I'm a biologist. I'm obviously going to believe in evolution. I'm going to believe in all this. But, like, I'm also, like, I have a religion that I base certain things off of. And I would like to know what my religion has to say so I can, like, have a good argument with someone. Like, if someone asks me, why do you believe in your religion? And does your, like, even here, does your religion support what science supports? And when I didn't get an explanation of what I wanted, I was like, I have no idea what's going on now because I have my scientific perspective, but I don't know what the religious perspective is.
Dude, put that onto a chair or something.
So, like, I don't know, should I ask someone else? Should I, like, because I'm still trying to figure it out, like, what does my religion say about evolution?
This is why okay, so what questions would religion answer?
What question would, honestly, I don't really think religion answers any science, like, questions about science whatsoever. Like, okay,
You're
we
off
have,
screen.
what?
That was funny. Keep going.
Okay.
Technical problems.
Or you can have more later. But anyway, like, when the whole idea of DNA came about, and I was on Facebook the other day, and someone posted that the mention of DNA is in the Quran, and they mentioned the line and everything, and I went and looked it up. I'm like, really? DNA is mentioned? And I looked it up, and I read the stuff that the lines that they were talking about. I'm like, this has nothing to do with DNA. This has nothing to do with it.
Me and Dante were actually talking about earlier how people retroactively
Yeah, and
like
I'm like,
read books and try to like infuse it with scientific
yeah,
knowledge.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Because DNA, there's 3 letters in the Arabic alphabet, Nun and Alif, so DNA. And they're like, oh, they're mentioned so many times in this line, and I'm like, I don't see any of that. Like, I don't see mention of DNA. I don't see the mention of chromosomes.
So they know what
anything like that.
deoxyribonucleic acid was.
Yeah, in the 1400s or whenever.
And they failed to mention this in any productive mention.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, DNA. Let me go look at this. Like, because obviously, if someone's gonna quote something, I'm gonna go look at the source. And I'm
It's like now you're instantly better than 80% of the people on the internet.
yeah. So I'm like, well, if I'm gonna believe this, I need the proof. Because I'm not just gonna believe what someone else says. Like, I don't do that unless like they're a scientist and they have a degree and they've been doing this work for like 30 years or something.
But even then,
then,
you shouldn't just believe it because they say it.
Yeah.
You should believe it because of the
no,
evidence
like
they provide.
they
But you're more apt to believe somebody who's been working
Yeah,
in the field
like
than
if they-
somebody,
if
some
they
Joe Schmo that was just on the
Yeah.
street that says it.
like it was
I
it was
understand.
just some random person on Facebook. I'm like, well, and a lot of people reposted this or like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm like,
I love that.
so I'm
I
like,
love
okay,
reposts.
I'm gonna go and look it up. I did not see anything, and I'm like, well,
There's tons of stuff like that the people suppose are in the Bible.
yeah. So
Like there's the mountains at the bottom of the oceans, the circle of the earth. They say that they have like pi is written into the Bible somewhere, even though they say that pi equals 3.
no, pi equals 3.1415 da 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 da.
I know.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like, look, it equals 3, so it's close enough to pi, so that means it was in the Bible. It's like, no. But then that's what I was trying to say before, is retroactively finding things that happen to sort of sound like scientific achievements. Those aren't the same thing.
Yeah.
If you're, I was like, me and Dante were kind of joking. Here's a Bible and here's a Quran. Take these 2 books, go into a white room by yourself, and discover something new about the universe.
Good luck.
But
No, I say you should
people say that actually happens. That you can learn everything about the world by just reading the Bible, for example.
No, I feel like with the Bible and the Quran, the Torah and all that, like they have stories of what happened, and then they have lessons in there. Like, you know, you should treat people well, you should follow certain guidelines. It's more of a social thing than science. It's not science, it's like socializing, like how do you live within a society?
Well, even then it would be how to live in a society in the Iron Age.
Yeah, you know what I mean, but like, there's certain values that you can still even apply to modern age, like, you know, be nice to people, love thy neighbor. If you don't want to love them, at least be kind to them. Just have a certain humanity.
I agree. But then that goes back into the whole, like, big book of multiple choice. You'll get out of the book what you want to get out of it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, everyone has their own bias. Like, when I read a religious book, I have, like, the Torah, the New Testament, the Old Testament, Bible, Quran. I have everything. I read everything because I want to make sure that I am fully aware of what I'm saying and I'm not, like, giving someone a wrong impression. And, like, just for general knowledge. And the way I see it, every religious book says, well, this is what happened with Jesus Christ. This is what happened with Muhammad. This is what happened with Abraham and his progeny. And I'm like, okay, great, awesome. Woohoo, like, alright, awesome, like, what am I supposed to do now?
What is it, in the second book of the Bible, there's just like 10 solid pages of genealogy.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't understand if this is supposed to teach me moral lessons.
Like, my parents actually, they have this giant poster, like this giant genealogy.
Wait, did someone actually post something?
Did they? I don't know. I can't read that fast. But anyway.
Can you see me typing? I sent the email to clarify more what I want.
I think it's the Tory person.
Well, apparently we're not
It's like,
doing something right.
I'm trying to get to the technical.
She says this is the Tory person, so she's aware of our existence.
Hooray, we're popular.
Semi-popular.
We have at least a fan.
She said she sent an email to clarify more what she meant, and she says, I like you guys at least. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm saying it and typing it. Thank you.
Oh yeah, we do have a new message in the inbox.
All right.
Woohoo!
Keep talking.
I forget where I was going with my train of thought.
Sorry about that.
Genealogy, yes. My parents have this giant poster of going back to, like, Adam and Eve.
Okay. Thank you. Yep, we'll keep talking.
And Adam and Eve, like, so, I don't know, like, where you go from there, but, like, on this, chart, you know, you have Cain and you have Abel and stuff, and Cain killed Abel as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's how.
So everyone else is Cain's progeny, or like, so I'm just confused on, you know, the lineage there, but I'll leave it at that.
So don't worry, we're all a little confused.
I kind of want to look at, because we say science and religion parallel each other. If they parallel, are they heading, again, like I asked the question at the beginning, I'm just going to ask it again just to reiterate. Are they going towards the same goal? I think in some aspects, yes, because science wants to explain how things work, how the universe came to be. Religion wants to find out how the universe came to be. Actually, no, it just flat out tells you. That's the difference.
Yeah,
See, science takes steps. It tests, it looks for things. And then it says, okay, well, this is what we found out so far, this is how it is, but it is open to scrutiny, and it can change. Religion just flat out says, this is it, this God did it, or this happened, and even though we're not going to tell you exactly how it happened, this is how it is. And you can't question it. The thing is, the main difference between science and religion is that science is complete, it should be. You know, you have some scientists who take on a religious stance to their findings, but science should be open to scrutiny no matter what. Everything that Dawkins said should be questioned.
There are more postings.
Yeah, she's typing. No, she already posted it. But yeah, everything that Dawkins said should be questioned. Everything that Tyson says should be questioned. Everything that David or you or me says should be questioned. Because how else are you going to learn? If people didn't question things, how else do you learn, really? You know, religion just flat out says, this is it, this is what our God says, and I'm talking about any God, not just Christianity or Islam. Anything I
any
say,
monotheistic religion.
yeah, this is how it is, and you can't question it. This is how it is. Don't question it. This is it. So that's the main difference with that.
But
You also have to look at how science and religion is used. Religion wasn't just used, and I'm speaking from my knowledge and from what I've read and heard from people. I'm gathering information from different sources. Is that religion doesn't just explain how the universe is. Religion also gives you like a template of morality. It says, you should do this to be a good person, to go here. You should be a good person so you can be resurrected as this, so on and so forth. And it also, religion in some societies is actually used to either supplement or replace government. In some places,
Sharia law.
religion is the law.
Sharia law.
It is the government.
It's not about not questioning. I'm actually reading what Tori is saying now.
Okay.
It's not about not questioning things in every religion. It's more about when there is no answer. Instead of saying there is no answer, you say because God said so. Or wherever your deity, I guess.
So basically, God is the void that fills in the unknown. So if we don't know something, we should just declare that God did it. I find that a bit odd because I'm gonna kind of paraphrase what Tyson said.
What is it?
How God is basically
an ever-receding pocket of scientific ignorance.
Yeah, basically. It's basically like,
I'll disagree
if I
with
don't
that.
know what it is, God did it. But so why should this ultimate being that knows everything, sees everything, and all this stuff should be a receding factor?
Ooh, Tori, you bring up some interesting points that I don't think are completely accurate.
Like what?
It's like, all right, first off, we all have to say thank you, Tori, for being an active member of this group, even if you're so far away. This is all wonderful, and we appreciate it.
Wish we could have more. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I
this
know,
would be.
people, if you're watching, please question
Please
us.
tell people about this
Yes,
podcast.
this is what exactly what I've always wanted this group to do. Yes. All right, so on this computer, Tori brings up a few interesting topics that I think, if you guys wanted to discuss them, we can just jump into it.
Okay, so this worked out after all. Thank you, Tori.
All right, I'm going to start with a second point because I think it'll be a bit more provoking. Genesis occurred in the same order as evolution of the universe. If you remove the word day, then evolution is exactly right. You may not even need to remove the word day, as time is literally changing as the universe expands. And in any case, what the fuck does day even mean to God? And eternity exists outside of time. Okay, so from what I'm taking from this, I love discussing stuff with reasonable people. Awesome. I would have to contest this if we're going off of Judeo-Christian biblical knowledge. A lot of the things that the Bible actually says are not how things say in the universe. There's light was created before matter. Matter was. How's the order of Genesis go? It's the whole.
I do not know 100%. I cannot.
Some of it is kind of interesting, and it kind of contradicts it in the next book. They kind of switch as things come in much order. But it's like man came, then plants did. Man came, then water did. And then I think the first thing it says is kind of interesting, where it's like, oh, let there be light. Light happens, but then the sun is created, or I don't know.
Well, light, it could be other stars, and then he created the sun. Isn't that feasible?
But why is this so ambiguous? Why isn't the Bible so straightforward? It leaves up so much speculation.
Because it's been translated it's been
Why would God allow
cut
that?
out, it's been...
Why would God allow what he wrote, supposedly, although there's contested of who wrote the Bible, is it God or people? But if it is his word, why would he allow a bunch of imperfect people to modify what he said?
Okay, I'm going to go with the biblical side of religious definition here. But,
I'm
after...
trying to tell people about the podcast and stuff.
As far as I know, after Noah and the flood, God said he would not punish people on earth, and therefore Like, that's why everyone is allowed, like, the earth is allowed to continue as it is. People are allowed to do whatever they want.
No,
Because,
he said they would not kill them by means of a flood. He can kill them any other way, it feels like.
well, yeah, that's why you have earthquakes, and you have tsunamis, and you have tornadoes, and
Also, all those floods.
well, it's not a giant flood that covered the entire earth.
She's typing to us. She said, most of the words in the Bible are up for interpretation. That's not really how God works.
Then how does God work, Tori?
God works how you want him to work.
I love the
than-
quote where it's like, isn't it interesting how God's plan always coincides with yours? I don't know. When it comes to literal truths that people say are revealed in the Bible, I think those sort of things need to be instantly taken with a grain of salt.
What do you mean?
Like the order that's listed in Genesis, saying that this is actually how the order happened.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
if-
Do you know how to go back up on the chat?
I don't know.
Because she left more stuff before what I just said. Should be a way to bring the chat out, naturally. And also, do you need a Ustream account too?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell people about that then. So maybe we can get more people.
The
We'll
way,
just- Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I forget where I was going.
God exists outside of time.
Yes, thank you.
We need to have this discussion in person.
Okay, God exists outside of time. All right,
How
but
do we know that?
how can you say? I'm gonna bring up what I learned in genetics today. That chimpanzees, orangutans, humans, marmosets, we're all related. If we look at our chromosomes, we're all very closely related. We have pretty much the same same amount of genetic information, and our chromosomes are very, very similar.
She said God is time now.
Well, okay, whatever.
So-
I'm still bringing up my point. Our genes are so similar, and if you look at it, it's chromosome 2. Chromosome 2
I love this
in
part.
orangutans, and I think it was chimpanzees, and in humans. The human one is like really long, and in the orangutan and the chimpanzee, it's 2 chromosomes like that are separated.
And they're like
And they-
fused together
they fuse
perfectly.
together, and then
One
the
has
human lineage came.
one has like 3 centromeres for some reason or something.
Telomeres.
Oh yeah,
They're
okay.
telomeres.
So one has a
And there's telomeric sequences within the human chromosome that corresponds to the chimpanzee telomeres at the ends of their chromosomes in chromosome 2.
It's like, for those who aren't following completely, it's if you I'm pretty sure it's chimpanzees. I don't know if it's okay. So
she brought up 3. It was chimpanzee and orangutan. It was human, chimpanzee,
Okay.
orangutan.
So it's like 2 of the chimpanzees' chromosomes are smaller, they're just kind of floating around. And if you look at a corresponding human chromosome, it's
Chromosome
like
2.
chromosome 2, it's enormous, and it looks exactly like it's just the 2 of them fused together. And this is effectively a slam dunk for evolution, that we just kind of diverged at some point. The chimpanzees maintained the 2 different chromosomes, and humans, they went together.
Which happens, like,
It happens all the
mutations
time.
happen all the time.
It's like this is a relatively simple as far as mutations go.
She agrees.
And even though mutations are so common, common and like happen very easily, humans are 99.5% related to each other.
Mhm.
And yet, like, look at how much variation we have within only 0.5% difference in our
Agrees.
genome.
She agrees.
Okay, so where are you going with this random biology talk?
With the science to religion
Yeah.
parallel.
That's like I'm saying, like, how did that just come about? Like, when you can have all these different variations, you can't just create all those variations.
So pretty much the only way that it makes sense
It's
is that
evolution.
is something happening in a I'm gonna say relatively natural, that's a stupid way of saying
Yeah,
it.
and it's only within the last
like-
it's only within like the last million years that all of this has come about.
So how do
You
we
know,
explain
humans aren't, we barely evolved at all.
Yeah.
So how do we explain
Well, barely.
theistic evolution, where there's that science and religion kind of
It's
Come
okay.
together.
Okay, theistic.
It's a retrospective. Like,
Okay, so for those who don't know, a general idea for theistic evolution or theistic science or anything like that is that although things happen naturally, the evolutionary process happens, it's either started out by a god character or it's maintained, like, I'll insert my godly finger at this particular juncture. That was a weird way of saying that.
people
But
believe that?
Yeah, like
theistic evolution.
yeah, that's part of theistic evolution. Correct me if I'm wrong, internet. But it's like specific structures are created by God and kind of inserted into the evolutionary process. This is where the idea of irreducible complexity comes in.
Yeah.
So like the bacterial
explain
flip.
this to me. Dinosaurs. Explain dinosaurs.
Behemoth and Leviathan. That's what a lot of.
In like scientific, yes, there is the idea that the two gigantic things mentioned in the Bible, those are just dinosaurs.
And dragons.
Dragons are just dinosaurs.
And they'll also say that the
I'm a
fossils were
dragon. Go Drexel.
They'll also say that the fossils were created by Satan to test your faith.
Okay,
Also, they'll
no,
say
we're
that God
going-
created the fossils to test your faith.
We're going a bit more into the more crazy religious people, but there, like if we go on theistic evolution, there's a lot of people that actually run with this, and I like the story person.
What?
Yeah, Satan is testing your faith. That's right.
Well, Satan can test my faith all he wants. I still believe in God, but I'm a biologist.
Okay, so with theistic evolution, there is the inserting various biological components that people don't think could have occurred naturally. This is where irreducible complexity. So bacterial flagella is the poster child of it.
Hey,
Hello.
come
Did you
in.
start yet?
Come in. No.
Yeah, we started a half hour ago.
We actually started on time.
We always start on time. Oh, just press cancel.
I feel like you guys are joking.
No, religion and science.
Oh hell.
Parallel.
Oh, again. Oh,
I'm glad you came.
Oh, and also we have a viewer who's actively engaged in discussing
Yeah,
this.
Yeah.
somebody's
we're
actually
having a lot
talking to
of
us
fun.
right now.
Thank you, Tori. Whatever your story.
And she works on. She works
Yes,
on
that
the
is
evolution
that
floor
is
of
in
the.
fact Omi.
What's she
She
saying?
recognizes you.
Oh.
She's watching us.
She says she works on the evolution floor of the American Museum of Natural History. So
In DC?
I believe in DC,
DC?
Tori.
No, she's in New York right now.
Okay.
So
I know it's Tori. I'm trying to figure out Tori.
And yes, that is Omi. She guesses that Omi.
Hi, Tori. Which one? I don't know.
all right,
Anyway.
Tori, if you can like if you want to email us this, that's fine. Can you just tell us how you think that evolution is perfectly compatible with religion?
Please do, because I'm trying to wrap my
Or
power around it.
however, or whatever point you're trying to make, just
Damn,
go
that
for it.
sounds good.
So I would take it that she's a theistic evolutionist.
Is Tori?
What? Hold on.
You can totally just use email if you don't want to have to refresh this. Oh, now I'm hungry.
I know. I'm sitting
Okay,
right
I'm
next
sorry. I
to it.
haven't eaten all day.
That's okay.
I haven't either.
Divided.
As your president, I
Oh,
demand
no.
that I have with a sandwich.
Sorry, Monsieur President.
You're president, not a dictator. There's a difference.
It's not about the Constitution.
So I think another aspect we can talk about is, and I used to talk about this a lot, but I would forget that scientists, certain scientists, like thinking about eugenics programs and stuff, control. You know, utilizing religion to control people, utilizing science to control people. That's kind of.
Okay, I can definitely see that religion and science are both vehicles to a certain end, I guess, and they're kind of like having an understanding of the universe.
But I feel like science
Well,
doesn't have an
I
end.
was making a point.
So was I.
Jeez Louise.
We're gonna go.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Flip
Let's
table.
go.
Hey,
Okay.
don't flip table. I'm eating.
Yeah, really.
No, the
The
tables are
table.
sectioned.
Wow. Okay,
Your
carry
table
on.
will be fine. What the hell is I stuck on? Okay.
Your giant legs.
You're making a point.
Yes, I was. Okay, so if science and religion are vehicles to a certain end of understanding how the universe works, like let's just say for the sake of argument that is the point of both religion and science, it seems that, like the point Dante was making, that that's true. But even so, I'm still really confused of how religion actually gets to an end. Can anyone
It
expound on that?
started. It started with an end. That's how I see it. I'll be right back.
Okay, that actually brings up a fun point.
No mercy.
She says she doesn't think it has an end.
Religion.
You don't think religion has an end or science?
It's like religion has an end. I've read it. Almost every religious book has like, this is what end times will be like.
She said, yeah, religion. She doesn't think it has a point, really.
Then why do it? Engage in religion.
Religion makes life bearable.
So
So
it's
it's-
a way of hiding from reality. Maybe?
Not
Like
exactly.
A comfort.
Your reality is what you make it.
You say I disagree. Reality will happen regardless of what you think about it.
I didn't say the reality. There's a difference between your reality, and the reality.
How?
Yes, how?
We all live in the same reality.
But everyone has
Okay,
a
take
different
for example
perspective
how
of it.
some people believe, like it's really simple. I'm sure a lot of people have heard it used before as children in reference to them or somebody else. Like, the world doesn't revolve around you.
Oh, yes, it does.
Your response is, my world
Exactly.
does.
You can make a
Right.
profile.
I mean, whether you use
So you
those
can
exact
continue
words
the
or not,
chapter.
Okay.
your response, when somebody says the world doesn't revolve around you, you're like, my world does. Like,
Okay, so it's your perspective, not really
Yes.
your.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
but
that-
your
what you're saying.
perspective is your personal reality. Your personal reality fits into the bigger and the reality.
Well, yes, but
So I'm saying there's
like
a difference.
if we
between-
just to divide them so we have easier conversation, can we call that like subjective reality versus objective reality?
Sure.
Okay, just make things easier for me.
Mhm.
But regardless of what your subjective reality is, the objective reality will still happen,
True.
and it still exists.
Yes.
And I would say that there are good and bad ways of interacting with it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if people do find religion really comforting, that doesn't negate the effects of the objective universe around you.
It doesn't negate the effects of it, but it changes and can influence how you deal with it.
True.
Like, for example, if you look at just something simple like stress, right? What may stress you out may not stress me out, and vice versa. But both of us are dealing with stress.
I would agree.
So, like, the thing is just like, it changes the way that you deal.
But I'm failed to grasp how religion isn't just like a hiding mechanism,
It's not a hiding mechanism.
or just like avoiding pain effectively.
No, because like the way I see it, I am in college, I am learning a lot about science, but I also have my religious perspective on things as well. Like, do you think that I'm being like stupid or something, that I'm like still holding on to my religious perspective, even though I'm getting an education in science?
I don't think you're stupid, I just think you're wrong.
You think I'm wrong?
Here we go.
You think I'm wrong?
Yeah, so.
Well, I think you're wrong. So.
Okay. Can you provide evidence how I'm wrong?
Yes, you have no religious perspective, you suck. That's how you're wrong.
Oh, that works.
You see, that pretty much is every religious argument I've ever heard, all summed up into one nice little sentence.
Absolutely fabulous.
Thank you for summarizing all religious arguments.
Jeez Louise.
I don't know, like, I feel like with religion, like, since I can't really make a good argument because I'm not a, like, full supporter of it. Like, I'm not 100% this is how it should be done. Because I have an education, like I said, in science. I am a biological sciences major. Everything that I understand revolves around biology.
Good.
And like I don't have the religious aspect to make a good point.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, you don't really. This is a question that I bring up a lot with people, just like, what makes somebody a religious scholar?
They
Like,
sit there and they study religion. That makes
Well,
them a religious
so?
scholar.
like,
I don't know. I think like
A
'cause
religious scholar is honestly the same as, I would say, a biologist who's been in the field for 20 years. Not putting a time on it.
Oh wait,
but like, how.
Tori asked, and sorry Tori, I can't really scroll up because this thing is kind of funny, but you were mentioning that what is Ox's religion? Have you watched the Polar Express? And I think the problem is that you don't understand belief, Dave.
okay, I'm a Muslim, but I can't say that I 100% follow everything that the religion prescribes.
But the religion
No, I had not
prescribes
seen
the
the-
man prescribes the name of the
It's
religion.
like, Polar Express is awesome.
I have not seen the Polar Express. Sorry. And David, why do you not believe?
Because there's no evidence.
Evidence of what?
Of
That's
the
point of belief.
Let me see. Okay, we have to make a distinction between belief with evidence and belief without evidence.
Okay, in my, the way I see it, belief is you believe in something without the evidence behind it.
It's like, for the sake of talking, can we call that faith?
Okay, sorry, faith. You don't have faith.
She says
Okay.
belief is devoid of evidence.
Well,
So
he
why-
defines it as faith.
Yeah, it's
the
like
Polar
just,
Express, he becomes a certain way because he believes.
yes, and that's why that's a children's movie.
I beg to
That's-
differ.
Well, no, okay. I love children's movies, but it's like, that's not how reality works.
That's not
no
how
matter
the
how-
reality or your reality.
The reality.
Who are you to judge what the reality is? Have you?
A scientist. My job is to study how reality actually works.
Yeah.
My work, like my life's pursuit, is to increase the entire, like, increase the complete understanding of the universe.
But you
for
are
mankind.
a biased judge.
Yes, you are biased by only looking at the scientific perspective of things.
What other
You are
perspective is there?
You're biased because you don't look at it's like if you take a case before like a criminal judge, right? You
Mhm.
take a case before the judge. If the judge is good friends with the prosecutor, or the judge may naturally feel as though they should side with the prosecutor because of who the prosecutor is or something like that.
Mhm.
Because of the relationship they have with the prosecutor. But in that case, the judge should be reappointed, like a different one should be, that would not have any bias towards
Yes, and if you're
one
an
party
honest,
or
if you're an
another.
honest judge, you do that.
Yeah,
I've seen judges do that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, like,
They're just like, oh, that's my brother, I don't think I should be judging this case.
exactly. And now, when we look at it from what you're saying, like, you're looking at it from science, I'm not even going to take religion into consideration.
No, I did take into consideration. It
I
just
think
doesn't have
if
any
you-
evidence.
But religion is based on faith, not evidence.
So why should anyone
There
believe
is
it?
actually some evidence that science cannot refute.
Like what?
Well, technically speaking, whether you want to believe in Christianity or not, there's a burial tomb somewhere with somebody named Jesus on it.
Well, I can go make
It's
a
like
burial
so.
tomb
I'm
with someone with the
not saying-
name Jesus on it.
I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm
but,
just saying.
no, let's just say, for sake of argument, that Jesus Christ existed, that I can't say that everything he said actually happened, but let's say Jesus Christ existed 100%. Like,
And he
there's no,
turned water into wine?
no, and like,
No,
the
that's
point I'm
not
trying to
true.
make is saying that if this guy 100% existed, that does not at all say that anything that was written about him ever happened.
Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you come into it, you're still, whether you act on your biases or not, you're still coming into it biased. Like, you can say that I will
It's like,
prosecute this person. Like, say for
Wait.
example, you're a judge in a case
instead of using these analogies, can you just provide me with any evidence
of what?
that any religious claim actually happened? Effectively, instead of trying to diminish my perspective by trying to poke holes in it, you should probably provide evidence. Because even if I'm like Joe Schmo on the street,
String theory. String theory is God. They are the same. I wrote a proof.
can you email that proof?
She says she will send it to you. It's very good.
Interesting.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, like I've seen a lot of religious people make lots of interesting claims, but the claims aren't based in anything. They're kind of just declared by fiat and then expected to be trusted, and
Yeah.
I say it, so it's true.
Oh, okay
Yeah.
then. But like, I feel like with us, like, since we're so oriented towards the sciences, we wouldn't make a good argument for the other side. We need someone who would make a good argument.
And I've been doing this for a number of years, and I still haven't heard any good ones.
I'm just saying, like, okay, there's no one that can provide a good argument as of yet, but we need to find someone who could so that we can debate with them. Because no matter how much we debate amongst each other, we're all going to end up at the same conclusion.
No, like my conclusion is just a gentle skepticism. Like
I'm
I'm not
not
going to
saying
believe
gentle.
it. It's like okay, fine. An assertive skepticism. I'm not going to believe things unless evidence is provided for them.
Well,
Okay.
that's your opinion, and you're welcome to it. And other
No,
people don't.
it's my opinion, and I would say that that's pretty much what most people think about most things. People just kind of make people call it a God box, It's like, this is my little God box in my head, and I'm not going to apply all of my skepticism to it.
But I feel like
So it's
there's,
like, I'm pretty, like, can you guys name any other aspects of life that you would not apply any skepticism towards?
I
I
question.
apply skepticism. See, the thing is, one thing about me is I actually apply skepticism to religion. So,
Do you do or you don't? I'm
I
sorry.
do. I
I
apply
do.
skepticism to religion. I apply skepticism to science. I apply skepticism to everything. It's not in
even
my
history,
head.
like, how do we know that stuff that's written, like, everyone has a bias. Even if you look at a history book, that book is biased to what the author wants to.
Well, yeah, but that's what references are.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for history, the references are evidence for it. Evidence that the event actually happened.
Yeah, but
That's why, like,
we
we have,
wow.
we have a
weren't
whole lot of...
there to see what actually
It's just
Well,
happened.
no, but
I do
it's
have
like,
one thing to say.
it's like we have an enormous amount of like corroborating evidence that Napoleon actually existed,
Yeah, whatever.
even though technically we can't actually like go.
Can't go back in time.
You can't go back in time.
Well, there is
Sam.
one thing. I mean, this
It's
is
like,
just like a side note, and this is neither here nor there. But being that the Quran was the last of the 3 Abrahamic faiths, the last book to be written, it actually does make reference, and like it does actually make reference, and like
Reference to what?
the Quran, I mean the Bible and the Torah.
Yes, it does.
It says that like certain aspects of it, like this is true. You are to honor this. Like in one of the first parts of the Quran, it says honor what came before.
I'm completely lost.
The point is, the Quran was the last book out of the 3 Abrahamic faiths, right?
Okay.
Because there are 50 million religions, but out of the 3 Abrahamic faiths, the Quran was the last one to be, the last book to be written.
Okay.
And he was saying no references, and I was saying that this is like neither here nor there. But the Quran actually makes references
To the Bible.
to the Bible,
Yes.
makes references to the Torah.
Yeah.
It
It's
also
like-
makes references
Those-
to the religious books that came before it. Was my point.
Yeah. That's
So that's not really how. That's not what I mean by corroborating things of events happening. These are all.
It said Jesus was here. It said Jesus died too. It just didn't say he came back.
Let's see,
It said he's
like
coming back.
it's like the things written in these particular holy books are folk tales that have been repeated like a dozen or so times.
in other
Wrong.
religions.
In the
No.
Quran, there are historical events as well.
Okie dokie, that's lovely.
You're
Actually,
saying everything is a folktale. Not everything is a folktale.
Okay, fair enough. Not absolutely everything is a folktale, but like the miracles that happen in it, those are folk legends that almost all of them have been
So you
repeated
don't
before the
believe
books.
miracles either. Like when someone's heart stops and then all of a sudden it kicks up again. That's not a miracle.
There's
That
a
happens all the
scientific-
time.
There's a scientific reason behind it.
That happens like 1,000 times
okay,
in every
you can't
hospital.
count that because I've clinically died several times. But go ahead.
You know what I mean?
There's,
Like,
Someday
that
I
goes
have
back
to
to
hear
your
life
question,
story.
David. That goes to your question about, what has religion found? What's that famous question you actually asked Dustin?
Can you name anything that has been? Well, which one? I have like a couple iterations.
That one you were just saying that.
Okay, can you name anything that has been discovered solely with religion?
I mean,
I really
because
need to start
because
using
it seems like everything that we bump into, whether we are well informed about it or not, can have a rational scientific explanation behind it. We just don't know what it is yet.
Okay,
We,
but the
we,
thing
we can
is,
apply testing as opposed to just saying miracle, God did it.
no, but
It's so easy to say miracle, God did it, as opposed to actually trying to find out what exactly happened.
But
I think
here's the
that's-
thing. Can I say this real fast? So one thing is, take magic, right? I'm explaining why this is important in study.
Okay.
Take magic. A lot of people have like all these little notions about magic, blah, 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 right?
Okay.
My definition, and I jacked this from somebody, I forget who. Magic is simply science that we can't explain. Right?
That's how some people would define it.
I define magic as science that we simply can't explain.
I agree with that.
Like,
Well, depends on what you. It depends on the magical thing you're kind of trying to describe.
I mean, certain things like little card tricks and stuff like that.
It's like mathematics and like science applied.
Like, take for example something as simple as a card trick, right? You learn how to do it. You learn how to do it so well that the other person has no idea what you really did. They just see the result.
Mhm.
And we call that magic. Now, other things that are like, paranormal, supernatural, blah, 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 that all fall under the same cloak as magic. Like, for example, there are people that can actually talk to the dead. There's a scientific explanation, in my opinion, as to why these people can actually talk to the dead. I believe
That's something to do with their pineal gland.
Okay, thank you.
But you see, like, when people do, like, those specific magical acts, I would just say that that's not what's actually happening.
Wait. I'm just saying, it, but like the thing is, once you explain it, you see that. But on face value, the reason why it may be, oh, this is cool to you, but to somebody else, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? That was magic. You get what I'm saying? To them, they don't understand. It doesn't matter what you did. They just see it. They don't understand what it is that you did. Like, for example, with card tricks, you actually look at the cards and do it in a specific type of way.
Yeah, you do an algorithm.
No, but there's other people that think what they're doing is magic.
Okay, because
like Tori brings up the whole Wicca example. There are a lot of people to this day that think like the spells and incantations they're saying are actually physically doing something to the world around them.
So what
I have my own belief on that. Oh, I know this story. Hey.
So what you're saying is that you have an occurrence, a phenomenon here. Like as far as science goes, you have an occurrence and a phenomenon. You have the process of it happening, and then you have the result. Where magic would be, you have the occurrence / phenomenon. You don't know what's going on. Result.
Yes,
so you're just omitting the process. You don't know the process. You just know that here's what this is. This is what happened.
Yes, and the thing is, if I'm looking at it because I didn't see everything that happened, like for example, I have a personal belief on how things like spells and stuff like that are used in Wicca. I have a personal belief on how they actually happen. Because one thing that you can say is, in a lot of situations where, with expert witches, no, joking, you have, they do their spell, they do their incantation, they go through the process, like they do something, right? And then at some point later, what they asked for to occur may actually occur. Now, there is something that happened in between that, right?
See, I'll just say that's a coincidence.
Okay, coincidence. Personally, I don't believe in
I
coincidence.
feel like after like a couple of times, coincidence is kind of ruled out.
Yeah, but then this is a confirmation bias. All the times the things you wish to happen didn't happen, you ignore. But the few times it actually does.
Well, I
you're
don't
just
ignore
like,
Well, some people don't ignore them.
Yeah,
Like,
I
one
don't
thing
ignore them.
is, it's going to sound really,
It's
really
like working.
cliche, but if you do a spell and it doesn't work, that simply means that it's like some people will run and say, oh, I did it wrong, and that's why it didn't work. But maybe it just wasn't meant to happen because certain things you are not supposed
it's
to
like,
do.
or the process you're trying to conduct is impossible.
Or, no, the process is, first off, I don't believe in impossible. That's another thing.
Even the word says impossible.
Really? You're just yanking credibility from my whole argument. Impossible. But like my thing is, so with religion, right? It's simply something that I think religion is some people's attempt to explain. Like I said, it's the whole. It kind of goes with the placebo effect, honestly. But it's like my reality, the reality. I'm sorry, what you call it? Subjective, objective.
Subjective,
Yeah, that shit. With that, it's like I feel like religion is some people's attempt to explain, and make themselves feel better, or others feel better about the process that they don't understand.
It's an opinion.
What?
Religion sounds more like a giant opinion.
And you seem to be dipping back into like the God of the Gaps explanation.
He's
Like
my reality is
it's
this
like,
reality.
and you give like you're trying to give a supernatural explanation for stuff that you just don't understand.
As far as religion?
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's
I
like
think,
back in the day, it was just like, how did that wave rise out of the ocean? I have no idea how how gravity and wind work.
Ah.
So I'm going to say that it was Poseidon.
Tori says everything can be made objective. Any who have to catch a bus will we will talk. So I am thanking Tori for participating.
Yes, thank
Me
you,
and
Tori, for your
Tori, we need to call
participation.
people. We need to have a little session.
You made it nice. You made it nice and bright. Even with just us three. Well, before we became us three lonely people.
Rude.
Here, so
I'm not lonely.
Bring
You're
more
lonely.
people.
bring more people. Tell them about us. Thank you.
Anywho, so I guess this kind of brings up the general question. If there's some religious explanation you have for something, or some supernatural explanation, once you have a, let's just say, physical or scientific explanation for it, which one wins out in the end?
Me personally, I think that they don't cancel each other out. I think that you won't have to choose because they will go hand in hand. Like, for example, if you take different religious occurrences, right? Things that are said to occur in the different religions, these miracles and stuff like that. I believe that some of them, yes, I believe some of them are completely metaphorical. Others may have happened, in my opinion. This is just my personal thing right now, right?
No.
I feel like it may have happened. Now, the same way I look at it, and I trust that I trust the result, even though I didn't see the process. Whereas other people may look.
Can you give an example?
Huh?
Can you give an example of that process?
Say, for example, I don't know if Jesus turned water into wine. I wasn't there.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, it's almost like if you could turn lead into gold, you could turn water into wine, in my opinion. And water is not really that hard to turn into wine.
You see,
All you need is
I would
some
I would disagree. It'd be much easier to turn lead into gold than turn water into wine.
Yeah, it takes a lot longer.
It's like you have to add it. You have to have carbohydrates, alcohol, various esters.
Well, aren't most fruit?
When it's just pure lead into pure gold, you just kind of have to knock off
Yeah,
some
but you know
electrons.
wine, you just take fruit and you just stick
Well,
it in
fruit
the
is
bag.
mostly water anyway, so
Yeah,
wouldn't water be
and
incorporated into
esters
the wine?
and
No,
all that
but
other good
you have
stuff.
to generate like large, complex molecules with
But
with
here's-
lead to gold. You just gotta knock off some.
Wait. Now, take the lead to gold example, right?
Alchemy.
Yeah, alchemy. But take the lead to gold example.
So can you actually do that?
No.
Yeah. You can too.
Okay, so
Alchemy is a real thing.
you can do that only in the sense if you have a gigantic collider and are able to. I don't even know why you would
No.
specifically
Not,
do this.
not can I
Because
put things.
gold releases
We have 7
You
minutes.
get one atom of gold.
Okay, wait, let me say something.
Albert
It's-
Wesker says we have 7
The
minutes.
thing is, it is physically possible to turn lead into gold.
Sort of.
It's possible to turn lead into gold. Whether or not I personally can turn lead into gold is totally different.
You'd have to like knock off several protons and electrons.
So what?
Awesome, do it.
That's really hard to do.
I didn't say it wasn't hard to do.
The only way, like, physically we know how to do it is with gigantic
Physically,
electron
we
colliders.
know how to do it.
Yes,
That doesn't
because
mean
we
that
don't.
it's not possible.
Yes, but until you provide evidence,
You're taking
then there's no
No.
reason to believe that.
This is for David.
When's it coming? Over here.
It's already here.
What is what?
I don't know. They think they have a Facebook page. Yeah,
What's
they have-
I
happening?
keep saying
I'm
that.
frightened.
The Pagan Alliance. Oh, boo! I know these people, that's why I asked.
Yeah, I know them too.
Who are these people?
Pagan Alliance, they're pretty cool.
Yeah. They actually wanted to know about. They wanted to recreate Drexel interfaith.
These people are my neighbors.
Awesome. So tell her about atheists.
Wait a
'Cause I don't
second.
know where the
Are they
atheists
are they related to coexist at all?
That's what they're trying to do. Like
You're talking
get
about
a
the
big
pagans?
again.
No. Coexist is the girl that you don't like. She's the president.
Oh, yeah.
of it. And I also
They're trying
and
to
I,
create an interfaith.
I do
group,
not
a-
like her.
Will you talk down now?
No, I don't.
Anyways, we got 5 minutes left.
Alright, so let's. The one quote that I have, I'm gonna keep this. The one quote that I have for these sort of situations is like, religion and science try to answer the same kind of questions. The only difference is religion gets those answers
I
wrong.
knew he was going to say that quote eventually.
Okay, here's the
Did
thing.
religion get science wrong?
No,
Yes. Often.
here's my thing. Again, like the first part of that I agree with. Religion and science are both trying to answer the same questions. The scientific people are waiting for or like waiting to see the process. The religious people are just believing in the result.
But the results that a lot of the religious results are wrong.
What
Like
do
they
you mean?
don't they
How
don't
are they
act-
wrong?
they don't actually happen.
At
Like
one
what?
point, somebody started out with wine. At the end of it, somehow they had. Started out with water. At the end of it, they had wine.
How do we know
We
that?
don't know if it. Shut up.
Well, I mean, like one explanation
We know
is
it.
like the stupid little joke one. Water. Now there's wine.
Okay.
Like that's an explanation. That could have been what just happened.
People turn,
Jesus kind of totally like what is it? Conned those people.
people,
Maybe he
su-
did.
people suddenly turning into salt.
Turning into what?
Salt.
Salt.
A pillar of salt.
Well, you know how much.
By looking at a city.
Do you know how much salt is in your body?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So explain. So
So-
when has a person miraculously turned into a turned
When
into
has a
a pillar of
person
salt?
been in that
Because they
city?
turned around and looked at a city.
Where does a person been in that city? Give me a person that looked at that city. I'll give you a person that turned into salt.
Yeah. So what was it?
I didn't look at that city. I don't know.
Really.
But anyway, so you're saying
Sodom
like
and Gomorrah, yeah.
And again, I think some of it is metaphor. Honestly, I think some of it is metaphors.
all right, I actually saw a quote on Facebook today
No, Lord.
that was like
Yeah, I said the L word.
whoa,
Oh my god.
we're in a public place.
Love.
No, I said oh
Lesbians?
You're
Lord.
doing it
Let's
wrong.
know where your mind
boy.
goes.
It's the
I think we just.
Did you
jumped-
say the
I
L
think
word?
I think we just jumped the
Lesbians?
shark on this show.
I love that movie. I'm sorry.
What movie?
What was it?
Can we get on with your comment?
We got 3 minutes left.
Okay, so I believe this. I believe in like religious claim X. I believe in this until there is a scientific reasons to not believe in it. Then the story was just metaphorical.
Yes.
So basically, people believe the Earth was flat. People believe that
I
we
believe
were.
it was flat.
People believe that.
People believe that Earth was flat for the longest time until we
well-
Believed.
Well, people still believe it.
What?
Yes.
That's it. Okay, at this point they're just
Until people no, but you see, this is the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
Is once we have a completely explanatory, perfectly wonderful explanation for how that's complete bullshit,
Airplanes?
then it becomes yes.
I mean, I'm not gonna
No,
lie
then it
and
becomes
say
metaphorical.
that I knew what kept me on the ground when I was little. Like, I didn't understand the concept of gravity until.
Oh, but you are just like that. The
Until
big
I-
thing below
weird
me is
period.
probably doing it.
Huh? I didn't understand the concept of gravity until I was like 4. The thing is.
It's like whoa, it took you till 4.
I know, right?
Yeah, it took me a lot longer.
I had an existential crisis when I was 7.
I just thought, I like the idea
Yeah, I
because
did.
my thing is,
7?
I remember
Pretty much, yeah.
nobody really was like, oh, by the way, the earth is round. Like, kind of makes sense for the earth to be. I never understood that whole, like, I read in a book that the earth was flat, like, according to my memory. I read in a book that the earth was flat before I read that it was round, because I read it was flat in, like, a storybook or something
No, yeah,
like that.
lots of stories.
You know how, like, in storybooks, how, like, they'll take it to, like, a different time? Or,
Children
like,
are born scientists. It's just that people
Oh,
read
yeah.
it out.
yeah, of course. I was born left-handed. I wish they would.
I know, I was too, and then they made
Most
me a
people
right-handed
that are
creature.
born left-handed are, you know, that's a, we'll talk left-handed later.
Yeah.
And so we are actually right out of time in about 85 seconds.
So, get the gap in. This is Drexel Freethought Society, and I'm your president.
No, you're not.
David
Flip
McDevitt.
table.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Sorry we didn't have
This-
Joe today.
This was. This
Yeah,
is a.
yeah.
We are the Drexel Freethought Society. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Tori, for actually joining us in the chat. I highly
Hey,
recommend that
Tori.
other people do that. We'll be able to answer any questions you guys have. Email us at drexfreethought@gmail.com or whatever. Goodbye.
Toodles!
That's him. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, I was
but
like, you see more of my face later.